Today, we're taking a deep dive into the world of plyometrics, what they are, why they matter, and how to incorporate them into your training. So whether you're following my Journey to Dunking series or looking to improve on your athletic potential, understanding plyometrics is key. Plyometrics are explosive, dynamic movements that involve a quick pre-stretch of the muscle followed by an explosive contraction. Simply put, they're the key to training your body to be more explosive. Today, we're focusing on jump plyometrics. Think of them as the secret sauce to getting more air, faster sprints, and quicker reactions. Let's get into it. Plyometrics train two critical components of athleticism. First, they increase your body's rate of force development. This is how quickly you can produce force. Secondly, they enhance your stretch-shortening cycle. This is your body's natural ability to store and release energy, like a spring. These two factors are what make plyometrics so effective for athletes. The stretch-shortening cycle can be broken down into two mechanisms, the mechanical and the neurophysiological. The mechanical mechanism increases the power output of the jump due to the elastic properties of the muscles and tendons. The muscles and tendons act like a spring, where a lengthening of them followed by a rapid contraction results in additional force output due to the release of elastic energy. The neurophysiological element of the stretch-shortening cycle is caused by muscle spindles creating an autonomic contraction of the muscle, further boosting rate of force development. Basically, your body gets scared that it's going to hurt itself, so it contracts without your brain having to send the command. Plyometrics are a must for any athlete who needs to generate force quickly. Whether you're sprinting, jumping, or changing direction on a dime, if your sport requires explosive power, plyometrics should be part of your training. There are countless variations of plyometrics, but let's break them down into a few key categories: tiers, methods, loading parameters, and styles. For tiers, you can break these down into deep tier, bottom tier, middle tier, and top tier. A deep tier plyometric is when you start at the end range of your mobility, for example, jumping out of a deep squat. A bottom tier is similar to a deep tier, but if you have the mobility to go all the way down in your squat, then a bottom tier would be where your hip crease is just below your knees. Think of a powerlifting squat and jumping out of that. Mid-tier is where the bottom position is where your knees and hips make roughly 90-degree angles. Think of a half squat. Top tier plyometrics is where you have very little bend in your knees or hips. This could be starting out of a quarter squat or even higher. There are a few main methods when it comes to plyos: low intensity or extensive plyometrics, pause, and rebound. Low intensity plyometrics are where you don't put 100% effort into the jump. This could be something like jumping rope or in a pogo hop, which we'll talk about later. These can be used for teaching mechanics or conditioning. Pause plyometrics are where you drop down or land in the starting position, pause for a brief moment to remove the stretch reflex, and then explode back up. These are great to teach technique, control upon landing, and improve your rate of force development. Rebound plyometrics are the most common plyometrics you'll see. This is where you drop down or land as fast as possible into the start position, and explode back up without any pauses. Of the three listed, this method best trains the stretch-shortening cycle. For loading parameters, you could have body weight, loaded, where you could be holding dumbbells, have a bar on your back, something like that, or assisted, which is when you might tie a band to a pull-up bar and use that to boost yourself up on your jumps. As for styles, there are many you can choose from and play around with, but they all stem from a few main ones, which are pogo hops, hops, bounds, broads, skips, jumps, and depth drops. You can make any of these styles more or less intense by putting forth more or less effort, combining different styles together, or changing the amount of reps you do in a set. There are countless ways to use plyometrics, and that's part of the fun. When it comes to programming plyometrics, it's all about progression. Start with low-intensity plyometrics to build a foundation, and work your way up to those harder, more intense exercises. Here's a sample 3-week progression to get you started. Feel free to try this out in your own training. The key is to tailor the intensity to your current ability. Plyometrics should be challenging, but they should never compromise your technique. If you do plyometrics that are too challenging for you, for example a depth drop off of a 40-inch box, you might not be able to handle the eccentric load to effectively spring back out of that. This will negate the stretch-shortening cycle and won't give you any ability to produce force concentrically. A much better alternative would be to start at a 15 or 20-inch box where you can handle those eccentric forces. So whether you're just starting out or you're an experienced athlete, Plyometrics can take your game to the next level. Stay tuned for the next episode in my Journey to Dunk series, where I'll be showing you how I incorporate plyometrics into my own training. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and keep jumping.